Keyword research is basically the concept of researching what these people are typing into the Google search bar so that you can then make a video on that topic. And I don't think I mentioned it earlier, but Google owns YouTube. And so if you have a video that's doing well on YouTube, it will totally show up on the first page of Google search results for free.
Welcome to the Bulletproof Cashflow podcast. Let's get into the show.
Hey everyone, this is Augustino. Building your real estate business and attracting new clients and investors is just one of the many skills every entrepreneur needs to build. However, chasing down cold leads is never any fun. Well, today's guest understands this very well. She's been a realtor since 2005. She was voted one of BombBomb's real estate video influencers for 2018 and has been a frequent guest speaker at events such as Inman Connect, as well as numerous webcasts where she shares her love of all things YouTube. Through her coaching program, she has helped real estate brokers explore ways to reach their ideal clients and gain more market share without dumping money on buying leads or running expensive ads. She's also the best-selling author of YouTube for Real Estate Agents, where she helps people get real estate leads and never cold call again. Without that, I'd like to welcome Karin Carr to the show. Hey, Karin, thanks for coming on.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. Now, if you like what Karin has to say, you can reach her via her contact page at YouTubeForAgentsCoaching.com. And if you like our content, please don't forget to leave a comment and rate the show. It helps us out tremendously when you do. Finally, if you text the word freedom to 202-410-4202, get our free ebook, The Bulletproof Guide to Finding a Broker. Okay, Karin, go ahead and tell the listeners a little bit more about what you're doing these days and how you got started.
Sure. Well, I got my real estate license in 2005 and we lived in Northern California and we were there for, I think, 8 or 9 years. And then we decided to relocate cross country because my family lives in Georgia and we had just had our second baby. We were on the West Coast. Everybody was on the East Coast. And it just was hard that, the grandparents only got to see their grandkids once or twice a year. And every time we would take a trip, it was this huge ordeal because we were 3,000 miles away. So we just decided there's never a good time to move and change markets. So let's just do it. And we picked up and we moved in 2013. And when we got here, I realized that I had no idea how to prospect for business because I had been relying on REO listings when I was in California. I was very fortunate that I got in with these banks at the very beginning of the crash. And then I would wake up in the morning and I had an email that said, here's your new listing, go get it. And there were days when I was getting like 4 new listings a day. And all I had to do was go over there and see if they had moved out yet. And if they did, change the locks and proceed. And if they still lived there, then I had to offer them cash for keys and help them move out and leave the property intact. And sometimes came down to evictions, the whole 9 yards. So I get to my new market and I'm thinking, okay, I'll just tell all of the banks that I've moved and these are the new zip codes that I cover. And nothing happened. And then the next month, nothing happened. And then the next month, nothing happened. And I thought, oh crap, I don't know how to find new business because I have seriously just been receiving all of these inbound leads for the past 7 or 8 years at this point. So I started doing all of the typical things: cold calling, open houses, door knocking, farming, Facebook ads, posting on Craigslist. I didn't really have a sphere to call because I was in a new state where nobody knew me. And all of my previous clients were banks. Like, you don't just call up JP Morgan Chase and say, who do you know that's looking to buy or sell a house? And so it was like, right. I didn't have anybody to call. I had to rely on all of these cold methods of prospecting. And I hated every freaking minute of it.
Well, I think everybody hates cold calling. That's the thing. I mean, it's the fear of rejection. It's tough making that phone call, and then that they don't want to hear from you, right? You're interrupting their day. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I don't like getting sales calls, and so why should I think that they would enjoy hearing from me? And you can only just call to check in with people so many times before they're like, why are you calling me over and over and over again? And I just didn't like it. So I started blogging because I thought, all right, I like reading blogs. I like to write. I would rather write for 5 hours a day than cold call FSBOs. So I started blogging, which I enjoyed very much, but it's time consuming. And it would take me a good week to write like a 3,000 word blog post with videos and infographics and all of the stuff embedded in it. And so I just was lazy and I thought, well, what if I just made the video? Like I could just forget the blog post and I could just make the video because I can talk for 15 minutes to the camera so much easier and faster than I could write for, half an hour a day for 7 days in a row. And so all of a sudden it just started to happen where people would call and say, we found your YouTube channel. We feel like we know you already. We're ready to buy or sell a house. We've chosen you already. Like we're not interviewing other people. We've already decided that it's you. Will you please send me your paperwork so I can sign it? And it was kind of like, what just happened here? Am I on candid camera? That was legitimately what they were. The very first lead that I got was a seller lead. And I was like, okay, I've just moved here. I don't know anybody. And we had moved 3 times since then. So we went from Northern California to Hilton Head to Atlanta to Savannah in the space of 4 years. So when I get to Savannah was when I get this first seller lead. And I thought, okay, I've only been here for 3 months. I haven't sold anything here yet. I certainly haven't sold any houses in your specific neighborhood. And so I've got all these objections ready. Like, what am I going to say when they say this? What is my answer going to be when they ask me this question so I don't look like a total newbie? And none of those questions ever came up. I said, who else are you interviewing? And they said, nobody. We've already picked you.
Hmm.
And it was kind of like, I can't even, I've been in real estate at this point for like 12 years. That's never happened to me before. Never happened to me before, unless it was, your next door neighbor's best friend and they referred you. And then because you have a shared friend, they say, okay, I'll hire you. But even then, they usually interviewed multiple people. This was the first time anybody ever just chose me randomly off the internet, never having met me in person, and said, we want to hire you. And then the next lead I got was another listing. It was another come list me. It was crazy. So I said, I am going all in on this YouTube strategy. I'm just going to make one YouTube video a week and I'll give it 6 months and see what happens. And within 6 months, that's where the majority of my business was coming from.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, it sounds to me though that they didn't just pick you out of the blue. I mean,
Right.
they picked you because you provided value up front first, right? Through your information, right? You
Right.
made yourself known. You became the subject matter expert in really providing the information that those buyers were looking for.
Yep, absolutely. It's not just that they did a Google search for realtors in Savannah and then they went, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, I'll pick you. No, it was because they felt like they knew me already because they were watching these videos. And if they like you, then they watch another video and another video and another video. And then they subscribe and they binge watch your content just like on Netflix, so that by the time they are ready to pull the trigger and hire somebody, you are the natural choice because again, you've been providing all of this free value without asking anything in return. And in return, you actually get their business when the time comes. It's pretty awesome.
That's right. That's right. So now let's talk a little bit about that. So as far as sitting down and making those videos, we're doing video right now. Unless someone's listening to this, then it's audio. But of course, if you guys are interested in getting access to the video, go to youtube.com/bulletproof cashflow. You can see the video. You can see our shining faces talking to each other here. But putting together the video is not exactly easy. It's not exactly cake, right? It takes some effort to really think about what you're going to do and what you're going to say. And I think it's probably one of the biggest hangups I would imagine for many people out there. Is like, as soon as they put the camera on, they don't know what to do. They don't know what to say. Like,
Right.
how do you get over that?
Well, you get over it by just doing it over and over and over again until it just becomes second nature where
Yeah.
you don't even have to think about it anymore. I mean, when you get up in the morning, you don't have to remember how to brush your teeth because you've done it a 3 bazillion times. And so the sheer repetition of it helps you get over like not knowing what to do. As far as being afraid to get on camera, I tell people all the time, like, you've got to stop thinking of the camera as your adversary and somebody to be scared of. You've got to think of it as your best friend. How long would it take for you to have 1,000 face to face conversations with somebody about real estate? It would take you forever, right? I mean, you could door knock neighborhoods all day, every day. And I don't know how long it would take you to go to 1,000 houses. And every single person that you spoke to was interested in buying or selling real estate at that time in your market. No, I mean, if I door knocked 50 houses, I'd probably be lucky to have 5 conversations. And of those 5, maybe only a couple are even remotely interested in buying or selling in the near future. But if you make a video and you put it on YouTube and you get 1,000 views, every single person that watched that video had an interest in the topic or they wouldn't be watching it. Because the beauty of YouTube is that no one will ever see your content unless they were looking for it.
That's
Like
right.
it's not the same as Facebook. When I'm on Facebook and videos just show up in my news feed, they just showed up. I was not searching for them, and maybe I find them interesting, but most of the time I scroll right on past because it's not what I was there for. I was there to like see pictures of my friend's birthday party and so and so just had a baby and funny memes and whatever it is. I wasn't looking for how do I sell my house in this hot sellers market. Whereas if they go to YouTube and they type in, how long will it take for me to sell my house? They were interested in the topic. So when your video shows up and they click on it, we already know that they were saying, hello, I'm interested in doing a real estate transaction. And if you say, I am in Savannah, Georgia, and they watch that video, stands to reason that they're interested in doing a transaction in that market. So you've got to be thinking of the camera as your best friend. The camera helps you get face to face with so many more people than you ever could in real life. And even though it's a one-way dialogue, it's not a two-way. Like they're watching you but they're not talking back. It's okay because they're still feeling like they get to know you. I mean, this happens to me all the time now where I have two channels. I have one for people that want to buy or sell a house in Savannah. And then I have another channel for real estate agents who want to learn how to make video. And when I go to these conferences, they like stop me in the hallway and want to take selfies with me. And they're like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm finally meeting you. And it's totally surreal. Like I am not famous, but somehow they think that I am because I have this tiny little YouTube channel. That is what video does for you. You've got to learn how to not be afraid of it and make it your best. It is like the best free advertising you will ever find in your entire career.
It really is a gift from God. I think
It
it's
totally
there's people that refer to social media as a gift from God. I mean, some social media is good, but this is a case where by leveraging social media and leveraging especially the YouTube platform, you're able to project out yourself as a subject matter expert. But I think part of it though, Karin, is that I mean, you've been at this for a while, right? And so you already had your skills honed from how to talk to how to talk to brokers, how to talk to clients, how to even talk to investors. I'm sure you talk to a lot of investors and lenders and all these different things. So you know what to say and how to say it, which is a real big part of developing your subject matter expertise. But then it sounds like too what you just said a second ago is you also need to practice because it sounds to me, and I've gone through this myself, the I guess the transition of becoming a pro at doing video, for instance, takes a while. I mean, you're gonna screw up a lot of stuff at the beginning, and you get very very frustrated. You're gonna feel like you're gonna want to give up. I'm sure you did. I know I did.
Oh,
Uh,
totally.
yeah, so it just takes effort. I think that's where the real effort comes in. That's where the real effort comes in. But now, when it comes to the acquisition of your data, I mean, in terms of you becoming an expert, and I know you've been at this for a very, very, very long time. What sort of thing do you have? What sort of hints and tricks do you have for those people who are listening right now? Like, how should they approach that? I mean, not everyone's going to be an expert if they're talking about a given topic. Like, what would you recommend that they be talking about then, and how should they prepare for it?
Well, I really recommend that when you start a YouTube channel, you figure out who are you trying to reach with this channel. And it doesn't have to be everybody in your entire market. So let's say that you really, like for a real estate agent, maybe you really want to work with first time buyers, millennial first time buyers. That's going to be my niche, my specialty, my niche, if you will. I say niche because the riches are in the niches. So you create your specialty and then okay, I'm talking to a millennial first time buyer. What do they want to know? They want to know how much does it cost? How much do I need for down payment? How long is it going to take? Can't I do this by myself? Can't I just call Open Door? Do I really need to hire a real estate agent? They don't even know that it's free 99% of the time to hire an agent to represent them to buy. So you've got to be educating them on this stuff. The videos that I make for my channel are not about houses. They are not about specific listings. Yes, when I get a new listing, I make a video and I do put it on YouTube. Those are the least viewed videos on my entire channel, quite honestly, because they're not going to YouTube to look for a house, but they are going to do a search about are there any down payment assistance programs? Let's see, how do I win in a multiple offer situation? How do I make my offer stand out? If I'm a VA buyer and I've got zero down payment, what can I bring to the table that's going to make my offer more attractive? Because all of these poor sellers have been told things like VA offers suck and you shouldn't take one and avoid them at all costs. But yet I'm a military client and I've got a VA loan. So how do I make my offer more attractive so that they're going to want to accept my offer? You're trying to think of, what do these people want to know? What are they Googling? And then make videos that answer those questions.
Right. And it sounds to me like you're being very, very specific too. You're tailoring the titles and the hashtags to the searches that people are looking for as well, right?
Yep, absolutely. And one thing that I am not doing, and I'm glad you said that, I'm not saying like my favorite coffee shop in town and three great places to get shrimp burritos. Like, yes, you can make videos on those topics, but is the person who's looking for a good coffee shop ready to buy or sell a house in your market? Not necessarily, and probably not. I mean, out of 100 views, you'd be lucky to get one where they are, and that's just coincidence. But if they're searching for how much do I need for a down payment, they are saying that they are in the market to buy a house. So if you're going to spend the time to make the video, make it on a topic that's going to bring you a client. You don't have to be the digital mayor of your community talking about fun things to do and cool places to go. And then you're just trying to like hope that one of these people is actually in the market and would remember you and would actually call you. Like, why don't we make content about real estate? I know it's not sexy and it's not an exciting topic and it's not super fun, but those people are telling you that they want what you have. So give it to them.
Right. That's right. Well, hey, you know what? I think that the thing is that if it were entertainment, then yes, there's plenty of those channels out there with the cat videos and all that, and they get millions of views. Real estate people, very rarely do they get millions of views on their videos unless there's something crazy going on at the
Right.
property or something like that. And I mean that has more to do with audience and dopamine effects on the human brain and a whole bunch of other things that we don't want to get into right now. But the one thing that you are addressing is you're answering their question, which is important. They want to get their question answers, and more importantly, though, you're also creating a dialogue, even if it's only one way, because now when that person is eventually ready to sell, they know Karrin for the past 6 months, and now something's come up, and now I got to sell my property in Savannah. I got to get out. I got to get out of Savannah like right now. Who am I going to call? I'm going to call Karrin because I've been watching her stuff for 6 months now, and I trust her because everything she's given me makes total sense.
Yep, that's it in a nutshell. You are giving them all of this valuable information. You are not coming across as a salesperson. You're not asking for their business. You're not putting your phone number and your logo across the screen the whole time. You're not saying all the way through the video, "Call me, I'd love to help you." Like, you're literally just giving them this information with pretty much zero expectation of getting anything in return. I do have a call to action at the end of every video, but it's probably not what most people think it is. My call to action is usually watch another video. So I will say, so now you know how much you need for a down payment, but do you know, let's see, what closing costs are? In this video, I talk about what closing costs are and who has to pay them. Go watch this video next. So now they say, oh, I don't even know what closing costs are. Okay, I'm going to tap on that and then watch that one next. And so you're just getting them to binge watch your content. The more FaceTime you get with them, the more they get to know you, the more they start to trust you, the whole 9 yards. So that, yeah, when you get these clients, I mean, I've had the craziest things happen. I had a woman call me from Dallas. She said, "We're moving to Savannah. I've been watching all of your videos. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. I'm buying a house with a pool. And when we close, you're coming to my house. We're having margaritas. We're having a big pool party. You're going to bring your kids. I'm going to have my kids. It's going to be awesome. We're going to be BFFs." And I'm like, "I'm sorry, what was your name?" Like, we already decided that we were going to be great friends because she had a very similar personality to mine, I guess. And so she just felt like yes, you are my people, right? Because you're showing your personality on camera. I've had clients that the first time I met them at the office, they brought me coffee. They said, "Hey, I'm going to stop at Starbucks and I'm getting you a venti mocha latte because I know that's what you like to drink." And it's like, this is so weird that like clients from Zillow don't do that, right? People who you meet somebody at an open house and you're trying to, "Hey, work with me, work with me, work with me. Let me tell you the benefits of working with me." But if you make a YouTube video, you don't have to convince them. They've already decided that that's what's going to happen. And the clients that you get are so loyal to you. They would never leave you and go to somebody else. They are like they'll tell everybody like my agent, is a famous YouTuber and they want people to know that you are representing them. It's kind of crazy. And when
Yeah.
you said that I've been doing this for a long time, I really haven't. I started making weekly videos in June of 2017. So yes, it's been 3 years. But think about like 3 years is not that long in the grand scheme of things.
Well, I mean, 3 years though, weekly. I mean, it's still a lot of work. I mean, we've been doing this. I think Bulletproof's been around for I think about four,
Okay.
and now we're doing three a week
Wow.
in terms of releases. And usually, like we said earlier in the green room, they're going half an hour to 45 minutes in some cases. And yeah, it's a lot of work. But you know what though? Just to your point, it really helps with the outreach, and it really helps if it's helping someone else. I never expect anything in return either. I put this information out there, and if it helps somebody, great. I hope it does. That's all I care about, honestly. That's why we do this. That to me is all I expect, and that's fine. It's fine. But it's certainly a labor of love. That's for sure.
Yeah, but it's a labor of love, but you know that it works. Otherwise, you probably wouldn't still be doing
Well, yeah,
it, right? You know
true.
that you get business from it. You absolutely know 100% that you get business from it, or you wouldn't still be doing it 4 years from now. And I
Correct.
figure you've got to be prospecting for new business anyway. So, what would you rather do? Would you rather sit in an open house for 3 hours and hope that people come in. And if nobody comes in, awesome. You just wasted 3 hours where you did nothing. Maybe you have 5 or 10 people come through. Cool. If I spend that same 3 hours making a video, editing it, uploading it to YouTube, and it will be found 3 years from now, I will argue all day long every day that that was a much better use of your time because the content on YouTube lives forever. Unlike Facebook or Instagram, after 3 days, you'll never see it again unless you paid to run it as an ad. On YouTube, people will find it. I mean, my most popular video has about, I think it's over 30,000 views at this point. I made it 3 years ago. It's called Living in Savannah, What I Love and What I Hate. And I just tell them, this is what I love. We live by the ocean. We got great seafood. We got lots of stuff to do. This is what I don't like. Well, we are kind of in a hurricane prone area, so you may have to have flood insurance on your house. It's a tropical climate. The bugs here are no joke. They are big. Um, they say we have alligators. I've never seen an alligator just wandering around my neighborhood, but so you're trying to tell them what it's really like to live in this area for the people that are moving here and they've never been here before. They don't know anything about it. Like that is 30 something thousand organic views from a video I made years ago. That's a really good use of your time.
Yes, yes, it is. I mean, and not to mention too, you touched 30,000 eyes. Well, I guess if you double it, but 30,000 people. We'll leave it at that.
15,000 eyes, 60,000 eyes.
60,000 eyes, 30,000 people. There we go. And you've provided some sort of value, and maybe they see you even as I'm not going to say an expert at Savannah, but they're going to associate Savannah with you,
Right.
right? And that is huge. That is huge when you're trying to develop and create your tribe. It's remarkable. So for someone that's out there right now, okay, and they say they don't have all the fancy camera equipment, they don't have all the microphones and all this stuff, the editing and all that. What do you recommend they do? How should they get started?
Use what you have. So use your phone. I film almost all of my videos on my phone or my webcam. So this webcam that I'm talking into, I think it was like $60 on Amazon. The only reason I got it was because the webcam on my computer, it's not very good quality. So this one actually shoots in 4K. It just plugs into the USB port on the back of your computer. So you can get a little webcam and stick it on top of your computer, and then you could record videos just talking to your thing like this, or you just use your phone. I mean, for crying out loud, this is the iPhone 11. That camera on that phone is better than so many other people's DSLRs. That's a good camera. Even if you have like a 6 plus or a phone that's 2 or 3 years old, it's a really good camera. You do not need a big fancy microphone like the one I'm talking into now. The only reason I have that is because I've been doing so many of these Zoom interviews and podcasts and things ever since COVID. Thank you so much. So I did suck it up and buy a good microphone, but you could use your Bluetooth earbuds. You could use a $12 microphone that clips onto your lapel and then it plugs into the headphones jack. It could be a little $50 Rode microphone. It doesn't have to be anything super elaborate, just a little microphone that will allow them to be able to hear you well enough. And then decent lighting. So go outside or face a window. Or, if you're filming in your basement or it's really dark outside, you probably want to get a ring light, like a $75 ring light. You could seriously be all in on your camera equipment for about $100 or less.
That's right. I mean, even if you get a regular, even if your phone is not so good right now, you can buy a phone, not activate it, and use that as your camera if you really wanted to. And I think most of the tools, editing tools, are built into the phone now as well. I know the iPhone, they have some limited editing capability, right?
I can't edit on my phone. I'm sorry. I am too, like, I've got big fingers and not great eyes. It's too small of a screen. I prefer to edit on my computer. And I did my own editing for about the first year. I didn't know anything about editing, but I went to the University of YouTube and I learned how to edit, like just the very basic iMovie for beginners tutorials. But then the best thing I ever did was hire a virtual assistant in the Philippines who will do it for me. So now all I do is record the video and I give it to her and she does everything from there on out. And she charges me a whopping $3 an hour.
Right. They put the intro, the outro, normalize the sound. Great. Done.
Whole
Easy.
thing.
Easy, easy. I
Yeah.
mean, I think the hardest part for many people is just getting started. And then once you get started and practice, and your first 50 videos are going to suck.
Yep.
Just accept it. More than that, they're probably going to suck. Maybe you'll get a good one out of it. But I think it's the practice, right? You just got to keep on getting out there and practicing as much as you can. That's ultimately what it is.
Yeah, because if you only do 1 or 2 videos a month, how long will it take you before you really feel proficient at it? But if you're recording at least one a week, and when I sit down to record, I figure if I'm going to turn on the lights and the camera and the microphone and everything, I should record at least like 3 or 4 videos, and then I won't have to do it again for a month. So if you can record a whole bunch back to back, and then you're sitting there watching yourself back as you're going through the editing process. That I hear that all the time. Like, I hate how I look on camera. I hate how I sound. When you sit there and you edit your video for a couple of hours, I guarantee after a week, your voice will never bother you again. You just don't care.
Right.
It's like you become desensitized to it and you start to realize that this is how everyone on the planet hears you. So you're the only one that hears it differently. Like,
Yeah.
you hear it differently because it has to reverberate through your own head before it comes out. Everyone else hears it the same way. So when you play it back, that's how you sound. So get over it. Like, there's not much you can do to change it at this point.
Yeah. Well, that's a whole other topic. I mean, we're often our own worst critic, and I think that's a whole other thing where we're always like, oh my God, I sound terrible, or I sound nasally, or whatever it is. It's one of those things that you just have to get over and start practicing. Or better yet, if you do think you sound nasally, you can also work on things like that as well. You can
Sure.
change the sound of your voice if it really bothers you that much.
Right.
Right. But I think you're right. For many, many people, they love just the way you sound. You just gotta start creating the content and practicing. And I think that's probably the biggest part is just getting started. That's probably one of the biggest hurdles that many people have. It's just getting it rolling.
And
Getting
that's
it
the beauty of YouTube, is that it's not live. So if you record it and you freaking hate it, you don't have to publish it. Like, you don't hit the live button and then, oh, it was a train wreck and you had 45 people watching it happen. Like, you don't have to upload it. But you know what? It is your first 20 or 50 videos are going to be terrible, and you just have to know that The only way we get better is with practice, and you will learn. And then you will watch your analytics and you'll go, okay, so, I lost a whole bunch of viewers at the 30-second mark. Why? And then you go back and you watch your video with a critical eye and you say, at the 30-second mark, I was still playing my opening intro. I hadn't even started talking about the topic yet. Maybe people are just tired of waiting and I need to get to the point faster. So then you say, okay, well, on the next video, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to make it a habit of getting to the point faster. And then suddenly you see that your views start getting a lot more, or your videos start getting a lot more views. And you're like, aha, okay, awesome. So my first videos were not a failure. They taught me something very valuable. They taught me what people want to see. And then I can give them more of that. So you got to be like kind to yourself. And nobody expects us to win an Academy Award. And that's not why they're watching our videos. They're not going to YouTube to watch our videos because they expect this amazing production value. They literally just wanted their question answered.
That's right. That's right. And always have good sound. Good sound is very important.
That is true. You need to have good sound. They will
Yeah.
be very forgiving of poor video, but they're not forgiving of poor audio. If they can hear you okay and you were a little bit dark, they were like, okay, it wasn't great, but it was all right. But if you've got amazing lighting and they can't hear what you're saying, they're out. So
Right.
you got to make sure you have good audio.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Now, if you had that one piece of bulletproof advice for that listener out there, what would you tell them?
You got to learn what keyword research is and make it your friend. Keyword research is basically the concept of researching what these people are typing into the Google search bar so that you can then make a video on that topic. And I don't think I mentioned it earlier, but Google owns YouTube. And so if you have a video that's doing well on YouTube, it will totally show up on the first page of Google search results for free. So you need to know, what are people searching for so that I can make a video on this topic and make it as good as I possibly can so that it starts showing up on the front page of Google as well. And then it's showing up on Google and YouTube at the top of the search results. And that's when you really start to see the magic happen, because you are just dominating Google without paying 1 red cent on advertising.
Yes. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. And there's tools for that too, right? Tools
Totally.
that you
So
use
I
for
use
that.
one called keywordseverywhere.com. It's $10 for 100,000 search credits. I think it'll probably last a year for most people. So $10 for a year in order to know what people are searching for online. Yep, totally worth it.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Excellent. Excellent. We'll have to include that link in the show notes. All right, guys. Well, if you want to reach out to Karrin, you can reach her via her website at youtubefораgentscoaching.com. I hope you got some insight on why you need to go all in on video to help build some organic traffic and potentially some new clients and investors. And as it makes them feel like they already know you, and it's because they watch your videos, right? So definitely consider doing this as part of your strategy. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Take care, and I'll see you in the next episode.
Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed the Bulletproof Cashflow podcast.